So, my dear brothers and sisters, just to note the way the gospel of today starts, that at the time when everyone was full of admiration for all that he did, so everything is smoothly going at the moment. Jesus is doing great things for people. He's healing the sick. He's making the blind to see. He's making life wonderful, and people are beginning to believe that this must be him. This must be the Messiah that we are waiting for. Or even if they really doubt, that he has some signs that is showing the people that is something that is different about him. And it is at this moment that everybody's attention is drawn on him, that he calls his apostles and he says to them, you must have these words always in your mind. Do not forget this. And what is that? He says the Son of Man is going to be handed over into the power of men. Remember that always, that the Son of Man is going to go through a lot of suffering. Do not stay with the experience of what you are experiencing now. Do not stay with what is happening now. Everything is smooth. Everybody is happy. Everybody is satisfied. Even people are beginning to think that I am the Messiah, but please do not stay at that level. I am going to suffer. I am going to go through. I am going to be handed to the power of men. And what does this mean? And this is so important for us, that a lot of people today believe in the gospel of prosperity, a gospel which preaches no suffering, a gospel which says that once we follow Jesus Christ, then everything is going to be smooth. And even when we face sufferings in our lives, difficulties, then we feel that God has forgotten about us. God no longer listens to our prayers. My dear brothers and sisters, what this tells us, and this is what Jesus reminds his apostles about, there is no Christianity without the cross. It's something that he has put across right from the beginning of this gospel. Even in the same Luke's gospel, in the same chapter that we read today, he says already that if you have to be a follower of mine, you must deny yourself, you must pick up your cross every day and follow me. But then we have a lot of churches now, and we call it prosperity ministries, where people believe that once things are not working out, then maybe God is absent. If there is suffering, then maybe God is no longer there with us. And there are many pastors preaching, no, you come to Jesus and you have a solution to your problem. He's going to even make you rich. He's going to give you all the material things that you need. And it's a very dangerous place to be when we begin to feel that to be a Christian means that we do not have to suffer. No. There would be no resurrection without the crucifixion. There will be no Easter Sunday without Good Friday. Jesus did not promise his apostles that it's going to be easy. In fact, all of them were killed. All of them went through a lot of difficulties. You remember when Peter is asking, what about us? We have left everything and followed you. And that is the truth about it, that his following of Jesus, Peter's following of Jesus, as well as the other apostles, needed a lot of sacrifice on their part. It was not an easy thing for them. They had to suffer. And apart from John, all of them were martyrs. All of them were killed. All of them went through a lot of suffering. And today we celebrate the feast of Saint Lorenzo Ruiz, who went through the same path. It has not been an easy path, and this is what Jesus showed through his own life. This is what Christianity is about. That Jesus came into this world to show us how to be truly human. That we are going to suffer, but at the end of this suffering, there will be a crown. At the end of the cross, we would have a crown. But it's not about this life. If it's about this life, no, then there must be challenges. There must be difficulties. There must be moments that we would feel like God is absent, but no, it is still part of the path that we have to go through. Remember what Peter says in his letter, 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12. Remember this, brethren, that you should not be surprised when you go through sufferings in this world, as if something strange was happening to you, but rejoice to the extent that you share in the suffering of Christ, so that when his glory is revealed, you will rejoice exultantly. That's what St. Peter says, that we rejoice even in our suffering, and we make it part redemptive, that we join our suffering to the suffering of Christ, that we share in the cross that Christ carried, and all of us have to carry that cross at some point in life. There are moments that we will feel his absence. There are moments that we will feel that cry like Jesus, my God, why have thou forsaken me? There are moments when we will feel abandoned. There are moments that we feel maybe God is no longer listening to our prayers. Maybe God does not love me again. No, that is not true. It's just that just as Jesus went through suffering, he showed us what it meant to be a Christian. And this is what he draws his apostles' attention to. He says, please, I know things are okay now, but please do not depend on that. I want you to always have it in mind that I'm no longer going to be just as you see me today, but I will be handed over to the power of men. I am going to suffer. I'm going to die. But my life is not going to end with death, because at the end of the tunnel, there is a light. There is the resurrection. After the cross, there is a crown. We therefore ask God for the grace to be able to persevere, and through the intercession of Saint Lorenzo Ruiz, that we may be able to be steadfast in our faith and persevere all the days of our lives, especially when we face difficulties.